Welcome, everybody. We are live in the WEIU TV studio this evening. This is Teutopolis. This is our story. I'm Keanne Armstrong, and I'm joined with
Ramin Karbasian. Great to be here presenting WEIU's 15th hour story. We're talking Teutopolis tonight.
We are. We've got 29 stories coming your way. We've got a house full of people from T-Town here with us tonight. We've got phone operators behind us. We've got a living room set. We've got Dakota here from Nashville. It's going to be a bang-up night.
We got music and tons of history. Can't wait for you guys to watch it.
We are streaming tonight on our website, WEIU.net, on our Facebook page, on our YouTube channel, and PBS app. So we hope that you're going to let people know that we're on tonight showcasing Teutopolis. We've got so many stories, starting with the origin and then going all the way through and telling where Teutopolis is going tomorrow.
Let's get the party started.
Teutopolis, this is our story. Don't go anywhere.
There's only one way out. Way too much to talk about. This ain't your typical small town in the Bible Belt. We work all week to make ends meet. Take the time, relax and drink. We praise the Lord on Sunday, then throw it down. This one church, 3-bar town. In this one church, 3-bar town. In this one church, 3-bar town. This one church, 3-bar town. This one church, 3-bar town.
Teutopolis, This is Our Story, is brought to you in part by Heartland Dental's main support office, based in Effingham, Illinois, is home to more than 600 team members, many of whom are Effingham County residents. Founded by Dr. Rick Workman, Heartland Dental provides non-clinical administrative support to over 1,800 dentists in more than 1,150 offices across 38 states. Heartland Dental supports many local organizations and is proud to be a supporter of Teutopolis. This is Our Story. Teutopolis State Bank takes pride in giving back to their community. In addition to meeting the deposit and loan needs of individuals and businesses, the bank invests in local organizations and schools. With 3 locations, Teutopolis State Bank looks forward to future successes and continuing contributions toward the growth of their community. Teutopolis State Bank would like to thank all the storytellers for their time and talents in promoting Teutopolis. Community service is alive and well in T-Town. The region's natural beauty, coupled with abundant amenities, makes it an excellent place to live. The village of Teutopolis is a proud partner with WEIU for Teutopolis. This is Our Story. Diedrich Bank, a community bank with community values. Our employees are your friends and neighbors, which is why they are so passionate about being involved in the neighborhoods and towns they serve. Diedrich Bank salutes the people and the stories involved with Teutopolis. This is Our Story on WEIU. Seymour Milling Company, a family and employee-owned company proudly located in Teutopolis. Seymour Milling is dedicated to building a legacy of innovation and sustainability. Enjoy Teutopolis. This is Our Story from your friends at Seymour Milling. The Teutopolis Banquet Hall at 210 South Pearl is a proud partner of WEIU and Teutopolis. This is Our Story. Enjoy the show from the Teutopolis Banquet Hall, open for your family gathering, event, celebration, or wedding. Teutopolis, This is Our Story, is partially supported by a grant from the Illinois Arts Council, a state agency.
Teutopolis has a stronger image than a lot of towns. We're Catholic, we're German, wooden shoes, and all that. Extended family, odd names, oddly pronounced names anyway. And there's a reason for that. Teutopolis is an intentional community. It's the result of a plan, the result of an organization. Let's go back to Cincinnati, Ohio in the 1830s. The first mass migration, you might say, from a European country other than the British Isles to the United States came out of northern Germany, starting in the late 1820s. People up there, most of them were agricultural, but the land wasn't very good. Most of them had no land or owned none. They were tenant farmers. They worked for their brothers or brothers-in-law. So there was a time when, what else are you going to do? Let's go to the United States. We hear things are much better there. And if they aren't, well, they're not any worse than they are here. So quite a few people from northern Germany, peasants, if you will, took off. And many of them found their way to Cincinnati, which became kind of a center of German settlement over the course of just a few years. Now, one of those people, two of those people who came were the Upmore brothers. Clemens Upmore looked around and he saw what was happening in Cincinnati, which was all of these peasants, farming types who were coming to the United States, came to the city. They didn't want to stay in the city. They wanted to move out, move north, move west, somewhere where they could own land, somewhere where they could have their own farm. So he began what was called of course in German, the Deutsche Landkompanie oder Ansiedlungsgesellschaft, which is the German Land Company or Settlement Society. Clemens Upmore and John Washford and a fellow named Gerhard Bergfeld took off from Cincinnati, going west, trying to find a place that they thought would be good settlement territory. So they decided on this area, good brown dirt, the kind they thought was the most productive, lots of trees for making, cutting down, making buildings, and right on the National Road. They went to Vandalia and bought the ground, 10,000 acres for $1.25 an acre, plus 40 acres that they bought from Black Hawk War veterans. When they got back to Cincinnati, then they allotted the land to all of the members. It was allotted in the sense it was drawn by lot. You got one town lot, and the town lot was 50 feet wide by 533 feet deep. Enough room for your barn, enough room for your big garden, enough room for your chickens, plus your house. And an outlot or a garden lot for a bigger garden, 2.5 acres. And then you got 40 acres of farmland. So now they were ready to go. They owned the land and they had allocated the land, but they needed a name. Can't have a town without a name. So they talked that over, the whole group, and they really favored Germantown. Not much imagination there. Unfortunately, the post office said, well, there's already a Germantown in Illinois, so you better pick another name. Okay, they decided on St. Peter. But then a priest who had actually become a member of their society, their land company, came to them and said that he had talked to Bishop John Purcell of Cincinnati, the Catholic Bishop of Cincinnati, and told them about the Germantown thing. And the bishop, a learned man, of course, well-educated, said, well, if they want to call it Germantown, how about Teutopolis? What does that mean? Well, in Greek, basically, adopted by the Romans, it would mean German, Teutons, opolis, town or city, city of the Germans. And I kind of imagined that, well, they weren't too sure. After all, they weren't themselves educated, sophisticated people, but if the bishop tells you to do it, it's probably the right thing to do. So their town became Teutopolis.
The settlers from Germany who came over in 1839 to find religious freedom were very, very concerned about building a church and building schools. Education was crucial to them. So one of the first things they did was build a little parochial school in the neighborhood. Another crucial year was 1861. 2 nuns and a postulate came to town. So thus began the Catholic education in earnest. So we are ending up with a parochial school, a St. Joseph College, and St. Mary's Academy. And in 1908, it's necessary to build Society Hall across from the church. By the time 1920s rolled around, students had outgrown Society Hall and a new high school was built. The high school students then moved to the new high school west of town, and Society Hall was turned over to the grade school. So religion was taught at the high school. It's called an ethics class. And nuns were teaching at the grade school, so religion was going well. The day would start with Mass, and then followed by a catechism class, and then the regular school activities began. That worked well until the baby boomers arrived on the scene again. Several of the students from here had moved away to pursue their careers, and when it was time to start their families, they moved back. However, with growth comes change. Now we're facing an issue. What do we do with the non-Catholic students? How do we handle the going to church and the religion class before school? What must be done?
This is a unique situation. The parish owns the grade school building, leases it to the public school district, and after the morning religion class, it's totally a public school district. And all of this depends on the success of having so many volunteers. It depends on the cooperation and the compromise throughout the years that has gone on between the school district, the parents who are not Catholic, and St. Francis Church. People see the benefits of having the religious education in the mornings, and then this is a good foundation, carries over into the rest of the school day. And most of our students do show a lot of respect and do have good behavior. Now, we're not perfect, not by a long shot, but I mean, you can expect students here in our district are well-behaved and respectful. So in Teutopolis, I think we can say we follow the 3 R's of education: reading, writing, and arithmetic. However, throughout the years, there's been that 4th R, and that's religion. So it's reading, writing, arithmetic, and religion successfully in Teutopolis Unit 50.
What did the Franciscans find when they came here in 1858? You know what I mean? But what did they find? What I mean is, what were the people like? What was the religious like, the customs, and so on? They had trouble with themselves. They had trouble getting a pastor. They had 6 pastors in 2 years, which is indicates a problem. I think it's important for the history of the community to know that, you know, we have a history of disagreement, and it's a history of sometimes, you know, loud disagreement and so on. But I think it's important to have a way to disagree that's appropriate and respectful of each other. And I think we've come to that for the most part. There's a sense of unity, a sense of community here. I would say a sense of family, a sense of together, a sense of prayer. You come in here for a morning 6:30 Mass during Lent, you'll think you're at a Sunday Mass at some other churches. And it's cross-sectional. You know, you get into a big city and they talk about the graying of the pews, like it's only old people that you'll see in church on Sunday. Not true here. Here you see a cross-section of young, they have the babies, they have the middle-aged, the kids, and so on. And I like that too. It's just, you know, they're here for each other.
The new college was advertised in the Midwest, different Midwest magazines and newspapers, as a place where a young boy could get a higher education or could also become a diocesan or Franciscan priest. The formal opening of the college was in the fall of 1862. They had 58 boys. 50 of them were here to get a higher education, and 8 of them were here to study to become a priest. The faculty was made up of 6 Franciscan priests, and there was 1 lay person who took care of the music. There was an issue with language right off the bat because the priests were not fluent in English. They spoke mostly Low German, and the students, the boys, spoke mostly English and spoke very little Low German. Then in 1869, the St. Louis Vandalia Terre Haute Railroad put in a railway right through town, and actually it went right past the front of the seminary. And the depot was just steps away from the front door of the seminary. Suddenly it was much easier to get to Teutopolis, and because of this, the seminary prospered. Until the 1890s, the school was owned jointly by the Diocese of Alton and the Sacred Heart Franciscan Province. The Franciscan Province negotiated 100% ownership to the Franciscans in the late 1890s, and then this school became exclusively a school for young men wanting to become Franciscan priest. Through the 1890s and into the turn of the century, the school thrived. In the summer of '68, the college here closed. Shortly after that, the local Knights of Columbus purchased the property, and over the course of a number of years, they demolished actually all of the buildings. The only thing that is there today is the 90-foot bell tower, which they preserved as a memorial to the seminary here in Teutopolis.
In 1943, 41 men from the Teutopolis area belonged to the Knights of Columbus in Effingham 665, which started in 1902. And they decided that we need to start a Knights of Columbus in Teutopolis. The men got together, first meeting, they got their charter in June 5th of 1943, and they met, the first time they met was in the Society Hall for their first meeting, and decided that they would have the meetings on the 2nd and 4th Wednesday of the month. And they got 61 men signed up for the initiation, and they had it at the Teutopolis High School Old Gym. And then in September of that year, 49 members joined. So the first year that we started our Knights of Columbus, we had over 150 members already, and today we are over 1,200 members strong in a town of only 2,900 people, the largest council in the state of Illinois. And in the 60s, we got so big we decided that we need to find a different place. So we went ahead and purchased from the Franciscans. We started out and went right away and took the study hall and turned it into our club room. And then the dining room was our room for events, for our breakfasts we have. The chapel, the church chapel, we turned into like a dance hall. The members decided and voted that we just couldn't keep it, so we voted to build a new building. As they were tearing down the older part in front of the new building we just built, and the story is that a strong wind came up and the fire got out of control, so we lost the whole place after that. There is a big tower in front that we wanted to keep to preserve the Franciscans that used to be here where they all came in. And so we did a renovation and rebuilt the tower that was damaged, and new top and built it there. That was a quiet project there. The community was there behind us on everything. So now we're in our new building. We was going to have our 75th anniversary of being here. Right before the grand opening on March 23rd, we had a fire in it, and the building was totally destroyed from a fire before we even got to see the new renovation of the building. The community was just in shambles. That was a hub of the area where everybody went after ball games or weddings and stuff like that. So we did the process of rebuilding the new building. It took us a little over a year and a half. We just got our new building rebuilt, and another grand opening blessed by Father Frank in 2020. We have our breakfasts up and make money and raffles for all that. And 100% of the money we make at these events go to charity. We have the hall booked almost for the whole year for weddings, Christmas parties, anniversaries. We are been always noted for, you always hear about so many benefits of things that happen to families that need help. I'm a believer that these 1,200 members we have, I kept track of it when it was Grand Night. I probably had 80% of the members throughout the year was involved in one activity. And this year, my class, 54 of us are 50-year members this year.
I'm here today to talk about the One Stop Shop Tavern. And it was Bussey's Tavern. It was owned by Clarence Bussey, his sister Elsie, and her husband Stu. Bussey's Tavern was very, very unique because there was a lot of different people that came there actually to shop and to visit. Bussey's Tavern was one that never served minors. I was a customer of theirs my entire life until they went out of business. I never did see a bar fight there. I never did see anything dishonest go. If you would have left there some evening and the next morning sweeping up, they found a $20 bill under the stool where you was at, they would have gave it to you. And the people that would hang out at Bussey's, for instance, our local doctor, Dr. Henry Rundy. Dr. Rundy delivered almost all the people in this area. He worked at it day and night. He was always on call. He did a lot of things there in the tavern for people. So at 8 o'clock at night, this happened to me one night where I actually had cut my finger. I went to the bar. He was playing poker in the back room. I went back there and I showed him the finger, and he said, "Mike, go out the car and get my bag." He said, "You're gonna have some stitches. Just bring that bag in." So at the end of the next hand, then he sewed up the finger. And he did a marvelous job because you can't even see a scar here now. Dr. Joe Rundy was her local dentist. Half of my teeth was pulled after hours, and I wasn't the only one there. I mean, that's just the type of person that he was. Buddy Weber was one of the owners of Weber Brothers. They had an implement dealership. He sold International Harbor Store, and usually just about every night he'd be sitting on the end of the bar, and the farmers would just simply come to town and trade tractors, discs, and so forth. Most of the things that he sold back in that era, he sold sitting on the end of the bar, not at the store. Jess Hattrip was an unusual person. Jess was the mail carrier here in Teutopolis. Jess was noted for carrying unbelievably large amounts of cash. He liked to bet the horses, but if he was out just hoeing his tomatoes in the garden, I would think that he probably had at least 10 grand in his shirt pocket. It was just the core of Teutopolis. I mean, that was just the magnet that brought everybody together. That was our entertainment, in some cases making a living at it, visiting with friends. There was people from all walks of life there, from the gravedigger to the chairman of the board of the banks to some of the most powerful politicians. what do I miss about Bussy's Tavern? I miss, you know, knowing that every night of the week, if you want to, you could go uptown and visit with ever who you wanted to, somebody interesting.
I didn't grow up and go through school playing music, really. I had piano lessons when I was young, and I didn't really like piano. And when I got into like grade school and junior high, high school, I played tennis, and I loved it, but then I got burnt out. So my senior year, I found my mom's old guitar up in a closet. Have these crazy ideas all the time, and my mom would always be the person I would bounce them off of. So I run downstairs and I'm like, I'm gonna learn how to play the guitar. And she's like, Dakota, we're not gonna buy you a guitar because you quit piano and we don't think you're gonna stick with guitar. And that kind of made me mad. So I was like, Mom, I'm gonna buy a guitar. And I paid for my lessons, and I took lessons here with Melissa Orndorff, who is the band teacher now. She gave me my first guitar lessons. I absolutely loved it. And the more I got better at playing the guitar and having more lessons with her, my parents realized how much I really loved it, and they were like on board. The songs that I would learn with Melissa, I would start to sing those songs. When I first started to get comfortable singing and playing, then I started to write. And I wrote my first song about my Aunt Marlene, who passed away. And I played it for my parents, and they all teared up. And then I played it for my family at Christmas time. And it was all an emotional moment, but that was kind of when I figured out, okay, this is what I love to do, this is what I want to do. I went to college at Southern Illinois University, Carbondale. I went into advertising, realized I hated sales. My boss, he also was into music, and he kind of brought me along, and I feel like he got me my first singing lessons as well, and gave me my first experience recording a song, and he also kind of made me realize I could make a career out of this. And that's when I decided to move to MTSU, Middle Tennessee State, graduated and from Tennessee there, and I moved straight to Nashville, got a house, rented it, and I just dived in.
There's only one way out, way too much to talk about. This ain't your typical small town.
Whenever I first released One Church and I wanted to write about this town because I love it so much, it really is. Whenever I feel lost in Nashville, I kind of feel like lost on where I'm going. You know, I'm missing, you know, my family and everything. I know that this town and this community is where I need to go to make me feel like I'm at home again, and I know like where I'm going in life. This town will always be, no matter where I go, travel, if I ever am feeling like I need to, you know, find my roots again, I will come back here, and it's where my family is, and everybody knows, yeah, it's a cool place where you kind of always feel safe and at home. I feel like growing up here definitely helped me realize like humbleness, kindness. This town helped me like know how to work hard for what I want and what I want to do in life. And coming back to perform here is so cool because I feel like I just feel the support and the love from everybody. Anytime I'm home, they are so excited to like see me. If I walk in, they'll be like, oh, you know, where are you playing? And it's just it's not like that everywhere. Like, that's very rare. I feel like I do come back here and play a lot, and I just love it because everybody is just so awesome here. I feel like I should repeat that 24/7 because they are.
And we're back in the WEIU TV studios. Did you hear that, T-Town? One of your own just said you're awesome all the time.
And we think that too.
That's Dakota Danielle Esker, and we'll have an interview, and she'll play for us in a little bit.
So we opened up the show with the town origin, Rick Seymour. We had some follow-up stories after that to set the tone for the night, faith and education. What did the Franciscans find? And then we heard about the seminary, the Knights of Columbus. One of my favorites was Bussey's Tavern.
Absolutely. Mike Ewing, I felt like when he was talking to us about Bussey's Tavern, felt like I was talking to my grandpa hearing the story. And Mike named just a handful of prominent people, movers and shakers, as they like to say, in T-Town back in the day. Mike probably dropped 20 or 30 names in that interview. So Mike loved Bussey's Tavern. Great to hear that story.
Absolutely. We are live in the TV studio tonight. As you can see behind us, we've got phone operators standing by, ready to take your order for a DVD or Blu-ray. Yes, get those phones ringing. The number's at the bottom of your screen, and the DVDs or Blu-rays, one is $75. 2 or more are $60 each. If you want to give them as a gift, we can mail them to your recipient for the gift. And you know what? This is a treasured item. This is a history of your hometown. It's something that you'll want to keep or give away.
And with all this history that you've seen at the beginning of the program, and trust me, there's a whole lot more to come, having a keepsake like a DVD or Blu-ray will go a long way to be able to rewatch that and learn again.
For sure. Once again, we're streaming online tonight at WEIU.net, on our Facebook page, YouTube, on the PBS video app. So if you're tuning in right now, we want you to let people know all around the world, wherever they may be, if Teutopolis was their hometown, if they know people there, let them know that they can watch anywhere they are tonight.
I know there's plenty of Knights of Columbus members out there. Rex Borey's talking about the 1,200 plus members of the Knights of Columbus there in T-Town, so some of Rex's buddies might be there. Rex, as he mentioned in his story, just a handful of the Knights of Columbus, 50 or so, are in 50 years as members of Knights of Columbus. That is, what a collection of guys that is.
Well, you know what? I'm going to put a challenge out to the Knights of Columbus. If you are a Knights of Columbus member, if you've ever been to a Knights of Columbus event, which they have many of them, we want you to give us a call tonight. Get these phones ringing. These folks are in here to support the hometown of Teutopolis. You need to support them. They're storytellers. We've got Angie Custer. We've got Tina Schwenke. We've got Marilyn Harmon. We've got Mick Daters over here. And we've got Abigail and Molly here tonight volunteering. We've got a house full of people over here too, but we need somebody to get those phones ringing. Who's going to be the first one?
That's right. We're talking Teutopolis, our 15th story in the Our Story series. We heard in Rick Seymour's story, the town origin, about the National Road, and we've talked about the National Road a handful of times here on the Our Story series.
That's right. Now, the faith and education story, that's something very unique to Teutopolis, and also what the Franciscans found. So there really is one church in this town, and the song that opened up is Dakota's song. She's here in the house with us this evening, and she's going to be performing just a little bit leading back into the next round of stories, but a very interesting town with a very interesting history.
Absolutely, and so appropriate for us to start with the origin, and then we had two storytellers. We needed two storytellers to talk about the faith and education story. So we had Sandy Fisher and Marge Wiesing there, and as you see there, lots of history there to start the program. So if you want to relive and capture this history in your home, there you go. Give us a call and you get a copy of that via DVD or Blu-ray.
WEIU is a public broadcasting station. We cover 22 counties in the state of Illinois and into Indiana. And there's our first phone right there.
First of many, hopefully.
Keep them coming. That's what gives us energy. Keep us going.
Absolutely.
We're going to give you a shout out in just a moment, but let me finish with what I was saying. We cover 22 counties in Illinois and into Indiana, and we are going to I've lost my train of thought for just a second. We're going to be streaming all night long tonight, but what we do is a local public broadcasting station is bring programs to you just like this. We're able to produce programs like this tonight on local communities and local history that are so informative, so educational, and that's what PBS is all about.
Not to toot our horn, but we're helping preserve history also here by capturing these stories with these people from all of these communities. And so this is a chance for you to bring that home to you with a call tonight. Thank you.
That's right. Now get those phones ringing. We've got someone on the phone right there. We've got other people standing by to take your call. I'm going to come back here and talk to Angie Custer for just a moment. I think there's another phone ringing. I heard a phone ring. I don't know whose phone it is, but hopefully we'll get that picked up. There it is right there. All right, so I'm over here talking to Angie, and I'm going to let Ramin get over there and get settled with Dakota for a second. But Angie, you've been a part of this program from our very first meeting, and you brought a number of things in tonight. You're a storyteller. So I want you to tell us a little bit about what you brought in tonight, as well as what has been your favorite part of being a part of this program.
Okay. So many different things that we brought this evening. One of two, the big things are obviously the trophies from the 1986 boys and girls basketball state championship. So that was wonderful. So also we have different paraphernalia over on the wall. So my husband still had his Letterman jacket in the closet, so
how cool
we brought
is that
over. And then the Afghan behind Tom and Rita is the Teutopolis. It has all the different kind of historic buildings that we had in the area.
Such a neat addition. We're so thankful for all the things that got donated tonight. We're sending them all back home with the people who donated them. But what has been your favorite part of the show?
I think my favorite part of the show is actually, I want to say it was the pre-live. So just getting everybody together, watching it for the first time.
The red carpet premiere.
Yes, we had a great time at that event, and just getting the storytellers was real fun too. Just to get them to get excited and tell their story.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here tonight. This is Angie Custer. She'll be ending the show later on this evening, Teutopolis for tomorrow, but we want to thank everybody for being here this evening. I've also got Dakota here in the studio with us this evening, and Ramin is over there ready to talk with her.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Kian. Dakota Daniel Esker, thank you for joining us in studio with your guitar.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate your story, being a storyteller about your hometown. And I'm just curious to share with our viewers out there, was it easy or hard to write a song about your hometown?
Oh, it was so easy. But actually, yeah, it was easy. I had the title. I knew I wanted to write a song called One Church, Three Bar Town. And I had the first verse written and pretty much, the first verse and chorus written, but I was stuck after that. And I brought in my good friend who was also from a small town, and we finished it, and we finished it in like an hour.
And you perform it. You perform it all the time.
Yeah.
It's
like my go-to song.
Your go-to. We had you performing there at the Brick Bat about a month ago when we taped that with you.
Yeah, that was fun.
When did you write or produce One Church? When did it get made?
That would have been in 2017.
Didn't mean to put you on the spot there.
Yeah, 2017. Yes.
I mean, how exciting is this for you to be a part of this program?
Oh
this is your hometown. You talked about in your story how the community, installed that work ethic in you to chase your dreams.
Yeah, it's such an honor to have my song be a part of this, and just to be a part of this in general. I appreciate it so much.
Well, we thank you, and we look forward to hearing you play here in just a little bit. That's Dakota Daniel Esker. We're going to hear her play in just a second. Throw it back to Kian.
All right, we're going to get some shout outs here in just a moment, just as soon as we get some names. I'm going to give a little bit of rundown what we've got coming up in the next block. We've got a story about Sister Ethelbert, and she transformed Teutopolis education, a really interesting person in the education field over in Teutopolis.
Yes, and she's not the only nun we're going to talk about. Rita Taylor has a story about some other prominent Notre Dame nuns that helped educate, whether it be religion, school, and in the case of Rita Taylor, taught her a little bit about music.
Absolutely. We're going to hear about the Teutopolis Monastery Museum. We've got Marilyn Harmon back here with us, Seymour Milling, the transition of agriculture, and a very special young lady, Elizabeth Widener, who couldn't be with us here tonight. She's got a lot going on, and she's at another event this time, but we're going to hear about the FFA through her too.
Absolutely. Continued history of the churches with the nuns, and we end the segment there talking agriculture. So keep on watching Teutopolis. This is our story.
All right, we're going to send it over to Dakota to take us into the next round of stories. Dakota, hit it.
There's only